Hey, Steelers Nation! It is that time again where we break down the latest moves and decisions brewing within the Pittsburgh Steelers organization right now. The biggest discussions are centered around the coaching staff, and particularly the impact Mike McCarthy is likely to have on the team going forward. There are a lot of questions hanging over the roster, but one thing that is crystal clear is the depth and talent present in the running back room. While the team might be juggling uncertainty in other areas, the running back situation is not one of them. They have three legitimate weapons who could arguably make many teams envious. Jaylen Warren has steadily proven himself, showing that he can carry a significant load and perform as a dependable one option in this offense. In his last season, he demonstrated a combination of vision, power, and consistency that makes him a cornerstone for this team's ground game. Then there is Kenny Gainwell, who has arguably been the offensive MVP for the Steelers. He did more than just run the ball. He contributed in every conceivable way, from catching passes out of the backfield to making explosive plays at the edges of the line. Gainwell's ability to impact both the passing and running game, combined with his effort on special teams, makes him a player who can change a game from multiple angles. Caleb Johnson, despite a challenging rookie year, carries impressive pedigree from his college days. At Iowa, he was a workhorse who commanded the offense, and he has shown the type of athleticism and football IQ that could flourish once given the proper opportunities in the NFL. The key for Johnson is volume. He needs consistent touches to find rhythm and confidence. And last year, he certainly did not get the opportunity to showcase his full potential. Having three capable backs gives the Steelers flexibility, but it also introduces a series of difficult decisions, especially when contracts and future salary cap implications come into play. Kenny Gainwell will soon enter unrestricted free agency, opening the door for any team to pursue him. While it would seem straightforward that the Steelers would want to retain their offensive MVP, at age 26, the realities of the running back market are complex. Running backs, particularly those entering their late 20s, rarely command contracts that match their on-field production, largely because the position is considered less scarce compared to others like left tackle or cornerback. Teams are cautious with long-term commitments to running backs because the physical demands of the position often lead to a sharp decline in performance in a player's late 20s or early 30s. Therefore, any deal for Gainwell must be weighed not only against his recent production, but also against his projected performance trajectory and the team's overall budget priorities. A short-term contract might secure his services for the next couple of seasons, but there is always the risk that the final year could be a costly overpay if his production dips. The Steelers, historically conservative in running back contracts, will need to navigate this carefully. The coaching philosophy under McCarthy has consistently emphasized a strong running game, favoring backs who can wear down defenses with toughness and physicality rather than finesse. Warren, Gainwell, and even Johnson fit this mold perfectly. They bring a combination of grit, speed, and versatility that allows the Steelers to attack the line of scrimmage in multiple ways. However, injuries, depth needs, and cap constraints further complicate these decisions. Looking at the team's broader financial picture, the Steelers have opportunities to free up significant salary cap space by addressing certain contracts on the defensive side, such as the upcoming salaries for key players like Jalen Ramsey or Cam Hayward. These potential savings could allow for strategic investments in offensive pieces, without hampering flexibility in future seasons. The challenge lies in balancing the immediate need for talent retention with the long-term vision for a competitive offense, particularly when it comes to the quarterback position. Speaking of quarterbacks, the situation in Pittsburgh continues to be a topic of intense scrutiny. The Steelers' options at the position are complicated by the potential return of a veteran starter, which can significantly impact the development of younger quarterbacks on the roster. Will Howard, for example, has shown flashes of talent that suggest he could grow into a viable starter, given the right environment and opportunity. Despite falling later than expected in the draft, Howard's college performance indicated a player capable of handling pressure and executing in high-stakes situations. The key for him now is consistent reps and game experience, which have been limited due to injury setbacks and the presence of established veterans. Evaluating a quarterback's potential requires a careful balance of observed skill, adaptability, and the intangible ability to manage the mental demands of professional football. And Howard has demonstrated enough to warrant serious consideration for future playing time. The draft strategy for the Steelers will likely focus on maximizing talent acquisition. While addressing critical gaps, wide receiver is a priority, as adding depth and playmaking ability at the position can immediately enhance the effectiveness of the passing game. Beyond that, scouting for potential quarterbacks with upside remains a careful balancing act. Teams often pass on players in later rounds due to perceived flaws or labels. That can be difficult to overcome, even when the underlying talent exists. In Howard's case, the opportunity to develop within the Steelers system, surrounded by experienced veterans and guided by a coaching staff focused on growth, may allow him to reach a level that was not anticipated by external evaluators. However, if a veteran quarterback returns, it could temporarily halt this developmental trajectory, highlighting the delicate timing required to nurture young talent while maintaining competitiveness. It is also important to consider the broader team-building philosophy. The Steelers have historically prioritized physicality, discipline, and the ability to execute within a structured offensive scheme. This approach impacts decisions across the roster, from offensive linemen to skill positions. The development of young players, including running backs and quarterbacks, must align with these core principles, ensuring that any additions or contract extensions complement the team's identity rather than disrupt it. With multiple moving pieces, including potential free agent acquisitions and draft selections, the challenge for the front office is orchestrating a plan that maximizes both short-term competitiveness and long-term sustainability as the season approaches. Every decision from retaining Gainwell to evaluating Howard's potential carries significant implications. The Steelers are at a crossroads where talent evaluation, contract strategy, and coaching philosophy intersect. Balancing the retention of proven playmakers with the development of emerging talent will determine not only the success of the next season, but also the trajectory of the franchise in the coming years. For fans, it is a period of both excitement and uncertainty, as the team navigates a complex set of variables that extend beyond simple roster moves. Every training camp snap, practice rep, and front office decision has a ripple effect, influencing the chemistry, performance, and potential of this storied franchise. Looking ahead, the Steelers' approach to roster construction will continue to hinge on finding the right balance between immediate impact and long-term growth. At the core of this challenge is the quarterback situation. Whether the team leans on a veteran presence or invests in a developing prospect like Will Howard, the front office must consider both the on-field production and the developmental timeline. Howard has shown flashes that suggest he could thrive if given consistent opportunities to handle live game situations. The lessons he absorbed last season, working alongside experienced passers and absorbing the nuances of the NFL game, are invaluable. Young quarterbacks often need this sort of environment to understand timing, reading defenses, and adjusting under pressure. And Howard's experience in practice and limited game reps have already laid a foundation for growth. The draft will play a pivotal role in shaping the offensive future. Wide receiver remains a key focus, as additional playmakers can immediately enhance both the passing attack and the versatility of the offense. The Steelers' strategy appears to involve not just selecting one or two receivers, but building a pipeline that ensures depth, competition, and multiple options for their quarterback. This approach can also help mitigate injury risk and create mismatches against opposing defenses, allowing the team to maintain a dynamic offensive identity even when facing personnel challenges. Beyond wide receivers, evaluating late-round quarterbacks who have untapped potential could be a critical factor, especially for long-term planning. Teams often overlook talented players due to perceived shortcomings, and the Steelers have the opportunity to identify prospects who can develop into contributors when nurtured correctly. Running back decisions will also intersect with these draft and free agency considerations. Retaining talent like Kenny Gainwell, Jalen Warren, and Caleb Johnson requires weighing immediate production against salary cap realities. Gainwell, at 26, is entering the peak period of his career. Yet the running back market remains unpredictable due to the physical toll of the position. The Steelers must determine how to allocate resources effectively, balancing the desire to retain their offensive MVP with the need to maintain flexibility to strengthen other key areas, such as the offensive line or skill positions. Depth at running back is a luxury that not all teams enjoy, and Pittsburgh's current configuration gives them multiple options to rotate, adapt to injuries, and maintain a strong ground game. Special teams and supporting roles are also critical in the broader equation. Players who contribute across multiple facets of the game like Gainwell has in the past, provide additional value beyond traditional statistics. The coaching staff must weigh these contributions when evaluating roster decisions, particularly in scenarios where salary cap constraints force tough choices. It is not enough to simply retain high-performing starters. A complete roster strategy must account for the depth and versatility that enable a team to endure the rigors of a full NFL season. This is particularly true in a league where injuries and unpredictable outcomes can dramatically shift competitive balance. Defensively, the Steelers face their own set of challenges. High-profile contracts for players like Jalen Ramsey and potential retirements, such as Cam Hayward, will impact cap space and influence the team's ability to invest in offensive talent. Strategic trimming or reallocation of resources on defense can free up room for offensive investments, but it requires careful forecasting and an understanding of both player potential and positional scarcity. The balance between maintaining a competitive defense and investing in offensive growth is delicate, as each dollar spent has a ripple effect throughout the roster. The decisions made in the coming months will define not just the immediate season, but the broader trajectory of the team for years to come. Another factor to consider is the coaching staff's philosophy and how it aligns with personnel decisions. McCarthy has long favored a physical, run-focused offense that emphasizes consistency and the ability to control the line of scrimmage. Players like Warren, Gainwell, and Johnson naturally fit this scheme, providing the team with a foundation of reliability and toughness. Quarterbacks and skilled players must be evaluated not just on raw talent, but on how effectively they can execute within this system. This alignment between coaching philosophy and roster composition is critical, as it ensures that talent is maximized rather than wasted, and that the offensive identity remains cohesive. For young quarterbacks, development within the Steelers system involves not just practice reps, but exposure to game situations that challenge their decision-making, timing, and ability to adjust under pressure. Will Howard, for example, has had limited opportunities, but the experience of practicing alongside experienced NFL passers has allowed him to absorb valuable insights. These lessons extend beyond technique. They include understanding defensive tendencies, managing the pace of the game, and developing the confidence needed to perform in high-pressure environments. The key for the front office is creating a pathway for such players that balances immediate competitiveness with long-term growth. Draft picks beyond the first round can be particularly valuable for addressing roster gaps and adding depth. Pittsburgh's strategy appears to involve not just targeting high-profile positions, but also identifying late-round prospects with potential upside. Players who may have been overlooked due to minor perceived deficiencies could, with proper development, contribute meaningfully. This approach not only supplements the roster, but also allows the team to maintain flexibility for future seasons, ensuring that the cap is allocated efficiently across multiple positions of need. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The Pittsburgh Steelers may be quietly approaching a turning point, and a recent public appearance by one of the franchise's top executives has ignited speculation across the league. During an informal conversation that quickly gained traction among insiders, the director stopped short of making any announcement, but dropped what many interpreted as a carefully placed hint about the team's future on the sideline. The wording was subtle, almost casual, yet deliberate enough to raise eyebrows. When asked about the organization's long-term vision, the director emphasized the need for adaptability, modern leadership, and a coach who speaks the language of today's locker room. That phrase alone was enough to set off a wave of conjecture around the league. It is widely understood that such language often signals a philosophical shift rather than a routine endorsement of the status quo. What makes the comment even more intriguing is the context. The Steelers are known for stability, patience, and loyalty to their head coaches, sometimes to a fault. Any suggestion that the front office is already thinking about a different profile hints at internal discussions that may be further along than publicly acknowledged. Sources close to the organization believe the director's remarks were not accidental, but rather a test balloon, gauging reaction without committing to a formal stance. Speculation has naturally turned toward a new generation of coaching candidates, particularly those with offensive innovation or strong player development reputations. The director's emphasis on communication and evolution aligns with coaches who thrive in analytics-driven environments and flexible systems. While no names were mentioned, the description seems to narrow the field, and rival executives are said to be paying close attention. For now, the Steelers maintain their official silence, and the director's words remain open to interpretation. Still, in a league where nothing is said without purpose, even a carefully chosen phrase can reveal more than intended. Whether this was merely a reflection on league-wide trends or a genuine preview of what's coming next, one thing is clear: the conversation about the Steelers' next head coach may already be underway, even if the confirmation has yet to arrive. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.